Welcome to another episode of the Probably Unemployed podcast, otherwise known as PUP. I'm your host, John.
And I'm also John.
And we're here to discuss, rant, and rave about various topics.
Oh, let's hop into it! Woo!
Hi, good morning, guys. So that was our pre-recorded intro that we decided to go ahead and make. Since we didn't want to have to keep redoing the intro every time, so we just wanted to have something set in stone that we can use for the subsequent episodes. So today we're going to be doing the not so good advice segment. We're going to be answering some questions for people that were seeking advice.
Sounds good to me.
All right.
Sorry.
So let's just hop right into it and start answering these questions because some of them are pretty fucking interesting. All right. So, number one, actually, you know what? Before I say this, just want to go ahead and say, if you guys like the show, like and subscribe and share with your friends. Just get that out there. Let me plug that first.
Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, yeah. So let's just jump right into it and start answering these questions and give our 2 cents. So, the first one says, "How can I get my coworker to quit asking everyone for money?" All right. So simple enough. It goes on to say, since last holiday season when my office hired I can't pronounce that name, so I'm
Cersei.
Cersei?
Guys, he doesn't watch Game of Thrones. He doesn't know.
Is that a Game of Thrones name?
Yeah, very popular. Forgive him. He's probably human.
I'm sorry that I don't know names from fucking Middle Earth.
God, stop it.
Okay. All right, since last holiday season when my office hired Cersei, she has quietly hit up almost everyone in our small office for various short-term personal loans. I personally have always been firm and apologetic with her when saying no for myself. Saying no was easy because it seemed really inappropriate, and because of the amounts she would ask for ranged so widely, sometimes with 2+ requests in one day, such as $10 for gas, less weird maybe, but still weird, to hundreds of dollars for vet bills, to $1,000 and change for a car repair, which shocked me so much I laughed out loud. My colleague Sansa, what the fuck are with these names? My colleague Sansa, who fell for one of her job stories, lent her the $1,000 amount and waited through months of flimsy promises before it was repaid. After that, when she realized that Cersei was comfortable asking for money again and again, Sansa came to me to tell me her experience and ask what I would suggest. That's when I realized that my interactions with Cersei were not isolated. With the exception of one very junior staffer, Cersei has hit up everyone with different sob stories for each person, sometimes even on the same day. So my question is this a personal boundaries issue that each person should just deal with individually, or is this a work-related problem that I should now bring to Cersei's manager? Cersei does not handle money or company assets, so that's not a variable, but sheesh, how do we get this to stop?
Sansa is another character from Game of Thrones. So
Are you serious?
Yes.
Oh my god.
So she's using fake names, bro.
Oh, okay.
So, and Cersei is evil, so that's why she's using Cersei for her name, because she's evil.
Well, whatever.
And, I actually have some personal experience with this, because one of my coworkers was asking for money for everyone.
Oh, yeah, you told me about that.
Yeah, and at a certain point, I gave him money at first, because, I felt like I was almost trapped. You know what I mean? But then, the second time that he asked for money, he paid me back the first time and all that. I just cut him off because luckily he no longer worked with us. But what I would do, I would just get together or talk to the manager and hopefully get this person fired. So,
I mean, I don't think it's a firing issue.
I think so. This person's asking for money. I'm like, you shouldn't have that around at your workplace. Like, you're already stressed. You got plenty to do at work. Now you got to deal with this person asking for money all the time.
I mean,
Get out of here.
I feel like, I think, yeah, you definitely should bring it up to the manager. You're basically harassing your coworkers.
You're asking people for money.
But I don't think you should be fired for it, but I think your manager should definitely let you know, like, look, if you want to ask for money, you do that in your own time. You don't need to be approaching all these coworkers when they're doing their work and fucking giving them these sob stories. Like,
Right.
I've met people like that before, that just, they mooch, and, like, they have no shame at all in saying, like, oh, can you give me this or that, and, like, it's just, like, they don't care, you know? Like, they are just in it for themselves, and they have no shame in asking for it. I can't get behind it.
You know, it was crazy because, like, the guy I was talking about, like, he went to our boss and said some stuff, and then the boss went around, like, because, some sob story, and the boss went around to the people around the shop, like, hey, can you pitch in a couple bucks to help this guy? Then he got mad at that because since it kind of, like, prevented him from going to each person himself and
Oh my
getting
God.
more money.
Oh
You know what I
my
mean?
God.
You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, so, like, because he went, like, to the same sob story for everybody. Like, oh, can we get some money? So now he got the money he asked for, right, out of the kindness of people's hearts, but he couldn't get more money out of each individual person. You know what I'm saying?
That's repulsive.
Yeah, it's super repulsive. And the crazy thing, this guy's a black guy, and then, like, he was always talking about how people would be racist and, like, bringing down, his people. And then, like, the next sentence, he talked about how he hated gay people. So he is a low life of all kinds of...
So he was a hypocrite.
yeah,
He
hypocrite.
hated hate speech, but he gave hate speech.
Yeah, he hated hate speech, gave hate speech, and lived beyond his means. And because of living beyond his means, he was strapped for cash. Even though people had told him, he lived in my same apartment complex too, and he lived in a nice apartment. And when he was moving into that apartment, people were saying, like, you probably should not do that because it's expensive.
It's expensive, yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's just one of these things. Like, this person cannot be helped. So I would just bring it to the
You can't help
manager.
someone that's not going to help themselves.
Right.
I mean-
And they're trying to do every low life type of thing, shortcut, to get out of their situation rather than whatever they need to do, rather than downsize.
Yeah.
Downgrade their life into something manageable.
And I mean, I've lived above my means before too. I feel like it happens to almost everyone. But like, you figure it out. You're like, oh shit, I need to cut back on this or stop using my credit card so much, or
Yeah, whatever.
You know.
So on and so forth.
you need to take care of it yourself instead of just begging people for money, because everyone's got their own financial issues.
Right.
Not everyone is fucking financially stable and has money to just give around. In fact, I think most people aren't, especially our age.
Right.
Like, we're in the, like, grinding stage where it's like,
Yeah,
we're-
if you're already having issues right now at such a point where you're, like, your outlook doesn't look good.
No, not at all. And that's like a personality thing, in my opinion. That's not even like a money thing. It's just, you just don't care about asking for handouts.
Right.
All right, anyway.
Let us know what you think.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to the next one. Okay, let's see.
Are we actually gonna talk about this?
Oh,
Man.
I just don't understand what this. Okay, this question just, I don't.
It's
It's-
funny.
it's-
It's funny and crazy
It's
and
funny.
horrible at
It's
the same time.
it's not funny, but it's funny how
Kinda funny.
fucked up it is. Okay, so the question is, how can I keep disabled people out of my daughter's wedding? That's a terrible question. All right, so it says, my 27-year-old daughter and her best friend Katie have been best friends since they were 4. Katie practically grew up in our house and is like a daughter to me. My daughter recently got engaged to her fiance and announced that Katie would be the maid of honor. Katie's boyfriend is also a good friend of my future son-in-law. The problem is that Katie walks with a pretty severe limp due to a birth defect, not an underlying medical issue. She has no problem wearing high heels and has already been fitted for the dress, but I still think it would look unsightly if she is in the wedding procession limping ahead of my daughter. I mentioned this to my daughter and suggested that maybe Katie could take video and hand out programs while sitting so she doesn't ruin the aesthetic aspect of the wedding.
The fuck?
Oh my god. My daughter is no longer speaking to me. We were never that close. But this is
I
her...
wonder why.
This
You fucking crazy lady.
But this is her big wedding, and I want it to be perfect. All of the other bridesmaids will look gorgeous walking down the aisle with my daughter. Is it wrong to have her friends sit out?
Yeah.
Yes.
Like-
What the fuck? You are a bitch.
This is terrible. Like,
Oh
this
my-
person is a normal person, and just because that she has an unsightly limp doesn't mean that she can't be a maid of honor.
First of all, this isn't your decision at all.
Right.
It's your daughter's, and your daughter's the one that wanted her to be the maid of honor.
Yeah, it's so crazy.
So, obviously your daughter has no problem with the aesthetics. Like, you're just being you're being selfish as fuck right now. Like,
I don't know if this is selfish. This is crazy. Like, you're just nuts.
yeah, like,
I don't know. There is a small percentage of elder women that are fucking crazy. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know what it is because, like, you know, maybe back in the day, women were subjugated to lower roles in society because of their gender. But like, you're this is crazy. You're crazy.
No,
You're-
that's
You know what I'm
beyond
saying?
fucked up.
Yeah, I'm like, why do you care so much?
Like, that's so discriminatory.
Like, she got fitted for the dress and everything.
Yeah, and how are you gonna sit there and say after she gets fitted for the dress, like, oh, can you just sit this out?
Yeah.
Because you walk with a limp, and it's fucking weird, and I don't want that in the pictures. Or
Yeah.
like, you know, like, oh my god.
Like, why are they even inviting you to the wedding?
If you're gonna be that much of a bigot, yeah, like, what?
Yeah.
I wonder why, you know, your daughter doesn't talk to you.
I always never got. It feels like there's a ton of women out there that have like terrible relationships with their mother or something like that, and I feel like some type of envious jealousy that these older women have because at a certain point they were like beautiful, and then they got older, and then they turned into
like
fucking
old bitter.
because they turned into monsters.
Oh.
Because they're not beautiful anymore.
Yeah.
And then they look at their beautiful daughter and they're like, oh, that used to be me.
Oh my god.
You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
they're just jealous of everything that they do. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah,
Just
yeah.
set this one out. Go to therapy.
Honestly, yeah, like,
Yeah, what
stop
is wrong
being
with you?
so discriminatory. That's fucking terrible. I
Yeah.
can't.
Yeah.
Oh my. Yeah.
You should be shot.
All right.
Sorry.
So we went there.
Too much?
Yeah, that was a lot. Yeah. All right.
Oh.
Anyway. Dear God. All right. Next one. How can I prove that my husband is trying to poison me? Oh my God. All right.
These people are crazy.
My manager asked the 25 people in our department if we'd be willing to cook meals for a coworker who is about to have their first child. Well, while I'm happy and excited for this colleague and normally give when asked, it's Christmas and I'm tapped out in terms of both expendable cash and extra time. It's especially awkward for me to say no since I just finished spearheading our corporate fundraising drive for a holiday charity. I responded to him privately that I would be unable to cook a meal, but that I'd be happy to drop meals off or contribute to our office mom-to-be in some other way. He's been giving me the silent treatment ever since. What's my next move? Wait, what?
Okay,
This
so
had nothing
that
to-
title and that did not match
This
at all.
had nothing to do with it.
Thankfully, it had nothing to do with it because the title that they gave is ridiculous. So,
What the fuck?
whatever. Let's just move on and answer this question.
That was. Do you want to answer this? Because this is. I don't even want to talk about this because I'm mad. But,
What? No, let's just answer it.
okay, what?
Fuck.
What? So
Ju-
like, he's been giving me the silent treatment because she doesn't have time to cook meals.
Well, just if, you know, one. First of all, I would probably just say get over it, but you know, I can't just say that all the time. But
Yes.
you know, I would, you know, if you ever end up talking to him again, bring it up naturally. Like if it ever comes up naturally, or like you talk about, oh Sarah, like how's Sarah doing with the baby and all that. You know, I wish I could have helped with the cooking, but I was just so strapped because Christmas and all that. Just bring it up naturally.
Honestly, for him to give her the silent treatment, that's really petty because she was like saying like I'm unable to cook, but I can drop something off or I can contribute in some other way. And it's
Maybe
like,
she's ugly, bro.
She's giving alternatives. So it's like, what the fuck is the problem?
She's ugly.
Not every what? Who?
Her.
The girl that's supposed
Yes.
to? Oh, okay.
He wanted something from her to help provide for another lady, and since she couldn't, she's like, whatever. Okay, I don't need anything more from you because you're ugly. I needed your work ethic.
Okay.
So you don't think so?
I don't think so. I mean, that's equally as petty.
Right.
I don't know. I mean, that honestly sounds like the manager's just a fucking dick.
Well, yeah, for sure.
Because, like, she obviously was, like, extremely exhausted from, like, all the other cooking that she had been doing. And then, you know, like, she offered, like, alternatives instead. So it's like there's really nothing she did wrong.
Get a new job? Or...
That's so extreme. Why is everything so extreme to you? Like, fire that girl, get a new job. Like, everything is just, like, fucking 100 or nothing.
Because that's what I wish the real world would be like. You know what I mean? But, you know, if someone, like, fucked up, you wish you could just, you know, drastically get rid of it. But then the real world was like, oh, well, fine, I'll talk to his mother.
Okay.
I know I kicked his ass. I'll talk to his mother. I'll apologize. All right, I know he has a weird limp, just like that girl in the fucking previous question. I ruined his potential future life because no woman wants to be with a hobbled sloth. You know?
Yeah. All right.
So you gotta apologize, but you know, in the real world, I wish you could just like never talk to that person again. You know what I'm saying?
Just cut it off.
Cut it off.
All right.
But you know, that's not reality.
Yeah.
That was weird. The whole hobbled sloth thing.
Yeah, I kind of just...
Imagine like a handicapped sloth. Ugh.
Uh-huh.
Sorry.
All right. All right, so the last one we're going to give advice on, it says, move out or wait it out. Just looking for an objective opinion. I'm trying to get out of my parents' house. I take home $610 a week after tax, about $2,600 and change a month. As is, I pay about $1,000 a month in student loans, insurance, phone bills. I have $3,000 cash under my bed, $1,000 in checking, $2,000 in a brokerage account for later on, and about $700 in another account. Jesus Christ. I understand deposits, and I'm going to need some new things moving in. Planning on having a roommate as well. Could I do it today or save a couple more thousand? I lived away for 4 years, so I got a taste and had some satisfaction. Moved back home to pay off debt, which I've been doing aggressively, but still 60,000 deep. Oh God. My parents are great and chillin'. I drink and hang out with them a lot, so relationship isn't a problem. I'd just rather be on my own and get my life going.
I would stick it out and stay.
Damn, 60,000 deep in debt after you've been paying it aggressively?
College is a fucking...
Yeah.
College,
Yeah,
man,
that's true.
American school system for college is a travesty. It's a scam. It's all of the above.
That's depressing.
Yeah, it's
honestly.
crazy. I would... Man, look, you're going to live on your own for the rest of your life, bro. You got to stick it out. You got to get rid of that debt because the debt's never going to go away until it's gone. Hopefully you got a degree that you can actually excel and actually get paid well.
Okay, $610 a week is 31,720 a year after taxes. That's really not that much money.
No.
I mean, honestly.
That's what I'm saying. I did the math too.
I know it depends on where you live. Like, you know, cost of living out here is obviously, like, extremely, like, exponentially more than other places.
Regardless, I still think you should stay with the parents.
Yeah. I feel like at that point you're just not really established enough.
Just stay long enough for you to pay off your debt.
Yeah. Also, I feel like having the money spread out everywhere is really just unorganized. Like, they say, like, I have $3,000 under my bed. Okay, well, like,
well, yeah,
why do you have $3,000 under your bed? Like
why don't you have that in a bank account?
In a bank account. Like, that money under your bed, that's like something like a teenager would do.
Yeah.
$3,000 under your bed, $1,000 in checking, $2,000 in a brokerage. Do you know what a brokerage account is? Because I don't really know what that is.
Probably like he's investing.
Investments? Okay. Well,
put the $3,000 that you have saved under your bed in the brokerage.
In a savings account or something.
Something.
Like, you need to consolidate your money And he says, and 700 in another account. What does that mean? Like, just
It depends. You know, like I had 2 accounts because I have my auto insurance in a bank account, because if you have a little bit of money in that bank account, you'll get like a little bit of a discount on your auto insurance. But I don't have a lot in there.
Who do you have auto insurance through?
USA.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, I feel like really to get an idea of what you can afford, first you should consolidate your money and figure out, you know, like, okay, all of my money's here, and then like, but still yet, like $60,000 in debt, and then the amount that you're taking home a week isn't really that much to consider. Like, I wouldn't take that seriously as like getting a place, and if you did, I would feel like it would have to be a place where you like live with people, like renting a room out of someone's house.
Right. You know, like I understand, because like, you know, most places that you live at, except for like California and like New York, places that cost a lot of money to live on your own, people look at you like you're a loser. You know what I'm saying? Oh, well, you still live with your parents? Like, if you live in where I'm
In
from...
California, they don't do that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Oh,
Like,
okay,
like
yeah.
in higher cost of living, like New York, California, Seattle, all those places, they're like, oh, you live with your parents? Like, oh, yeah, I do too. Everyone lives
Honestly,
with their
yeah,
parents.
that is true. Because I remember like living on the East Coast, it would be like if you were like in your 20s and you still lived with your parents, it was like, what are you doing? Why do you still live with your fucking parents?
Right, and same in the Midwest. See, I bring that up because, like, what's your priorities? Your logically, your priorities should get rid of that debt, because that's what's gonna be bringing you debt back. But like, maybe if your like dating life is suffering because you're living fucking Winona, fucking Idaho or some shit, and you're still living with your parents, you know what I'm saying? And like, you can't like go on a date and like this girl really likes you and like, oh, wants to go back to your place, and like, oh, let me call my mom and see if she's home. You know what I mean? I get that. And it's different. Like, if you're in California, like, oh, let me it's this conversation would happen. Like, let me call if my mom's home and see if she's there. Like, oh, why don't we just fuck in my car? You know what I mean? That'll happen instead. Because you're like, well, I can't go to my place. My parents are home. Because you're both fucking, or like, probably say like, I can't go home. My babysitter's still there because she's a whore and had a kid when she was 15. Still looks great though. Good for her.
Oh my god. Yeah, I mean, well, he didn't mention that his dating life was a problem, so I don't think that was an issue. But yeah, I mean, paying off your debt will give you more disposable income. You know?
Well, right, yeah, of course.
Like,
but like, how long is it gonna take to pay off this debt?
oh yeah, 60,000. That's quite
You know what I'm saying?
a fucking lot.
He's only making like 30,000 a year.
Yeah.
Live off fucking ramen noodles and just put like literally everything you make into your debt, and maybe you might be able to pay it off in 3.
Yeah, that's true. I mean,
Live like a fucking hermit, bro.
I mean, yeah, he said he's been paying it aggressively, so I mean, he's probably been doing that. But yeah, essentially the takeaway from this is like, I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't move out. At
No,
that
not
point.
at all.
And I mean, it's obviously not really an issue that he's living with his parents. So it's like, just ride that out. Because like you said, once you finally do move out, you're done. You're gonna be living on your own for like the rest of your life. You know,
Well, yeah, unless you like
unless you get married or something. You know, but like,
you start going to parties, you start like hanging out a little bit, and then you start doing some drugs, and then you're just doing drugs excessively, and then you OD, and your parents like, you gotta move back in so we can look after you, and then you're
okay,
back in.
well, that's a very specific scenario.
Yeah, I think that happens a lot, especially in the Midwest and the East Coast. There's an opioid crisis happening in this country. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Fentanyl is killing people out there.
Yeah. So I mean, I think that's my.
I like
take.
how you just ignore this whole situation.
I do. I tune a lot of what you say out because it's just terrible.
You hurt my feelings consistently.
So yeah, that's the takeaway there, and I think that's gonna wrap it up for the advice section.
We didn't have like any super crazy intricate questions, so, and I don't think we could add any more to it. If you guys wanted to add anything, please feel free to add in the comments. We would appreciate it. For the not so good advice comment section is typically our most filled comment section.
Our most what?
Filled comment section.
Failed?
Filled. Like,
Field?
people fill the comic section. Kill me.
Right. Okay. Anyway.
Kill me with fire.
So, all right. So, yeah, that wraps it up for this episode. We hope you guys enjoyed it. We were going to try to make it a little bit shorter so that, like, some people who aren't really, like,
interested in long podcasts.
Interested in long podcasts, or people that don't really listen to podcasts in general don't have to, like, commit, like, an hour to listen to the episode. You know, we want to make it a little bit easier for people and, you know, bring in more, like, traffic in our videos.
Yep.
All right, so yeah, that wraps it up. Thank you guys for listening, and stay tuned for our next episode.
Peace.